All right. Oh, all right. We're live, I think. I believe we're live. I need to double check. Back with another multiplayer. There we go. Looks like we're live. Sweet. Yeah, back with another multiplayer stream day. Today we're going to be playing as Tzeentch. Glorious, glorious Tzeentch. It looks like this time we are not muted. Amazing. And right now, I guess we can go over some details, some glorious details. So Tzeentch overall, right now, one of the better middle-of-the-road factions. One of the better middle-of-the-road factions. They have a really strong front line of Forsaken and Spawn, and generally, if they really want to win the frontline fight, they can. So this is just generally pretty good. Oh, it's Nurgle. Yeah, generally that's pretty good for any faction. As they can. Sorry, just gotta set up my army first. But yeah, it's pretty good, as it means they can capture the points if they really want to. And given that domination is so it's very generally important to have a lot of map presence. It's a pretty good time for Tzeentch. He also has a lot of range, which means that if he really wants to secure an area, he can too. And especially against Nurgle, we're going to be bringing a lot of range. And that is because Tzeentch is one of the very few factions that can actually army wipe Nurgle before the end of the battle. So hopefully we see a little bit of that today. Alright, anyways, let's take a look at chat. Eldrin of the Mist. Hello, welcome. Sorry, let me just close some of these tabs here so I'm not super distracted while streaming. There you go. But yeah, hello. Oh, he's readied up. I think I want one more spawn and maybe a flamer. Maybe a single flamer. Flamers are sort of in a weird position here, but generally they can be quite good. It's just that pinks can very often do a lot better. So I sort of defaulted to mostly that. Yeah, I think we're good. But yeah, hello Dark User. Hello Lycus Sleb. I'll just call you Sleb. Big Sarge, Lucifer. Nice. Some classic names in here. No honor with this guy? Oh, no, that's totally fine. Yeah, if CA says that the minimum army setup time is 1 minute, then it's 1 minute. Is Tzeentch still delaying your new prize PC? Unfortunately, yes. Yes, he is. He's used the stop Empire button, and for another turn, nothing's going to be moving all the way here in Canada. Oh my gosh, it's brutal. It's brutal. Tomorrow, if it doesn't show up, I'll probably send another email. But from what I can tell, it's just been stuck in customs. And it's gonna be there until the day I die. The last stage of grief, guys. What's it? Shibu! Hey, Shibu, hello. Sand Pirate saying, I was just starting to watch the VOD for the Cathay stream. Hey, wonderful. Yeah, we're streaming live at this time every day for the foreseeable future. As long as I can continue to get good viewership for the streams. That's a good enough reason to continue it. Right now, video production is going pretty smoothly too. Spoilers for the next video. I'm working on the Cathay Harmony video. So there's a little bit of details about how Harmony works, where I do feel like Harmony is a tiny bit weaker than a lot of people give it credit for. And I just want a video illustrating that. So expect that soon. I've sort of noticed a weird thing about my videos. A lot of them, it turns out, are created because I'm frustrated about the wider community's opinions on something, and then I just sort of want to prove a point in video. It is. I am indeed that. Oh, I'm missing the word for it, but yeah. Yeah, it's totally just to try and settle a debate. That's most of the inspiration. Other than that, it's like, you know, if something really cool shows up, then of course I'll do that. But yeah, oftentimes it's pretty basic why I make a video. But anyways, for this actual battle, I'm going to be playing very aggressively here. We want to trade hyper aggressively because Nurgle's armies tend to be very hard to kill. In this case, he has a Soul Grinder, a Cultist, and actually a bunch of Toads. So I'm not especially worried right now. I feel like we have a nice lead. And Blue Fire, if you ever have trouble with Cultists, Blue Fire is the way you want to go. For sure. Vindictive? No, Vindictive's a little bit off. Like, petty, I guess. There you go. Yeah, I think petty's the right word. Where I'm using my popularity on YouTube to try and bring up points. Anyways, that's not the only reason, of course. The other reason is money. No, just whatever is fun to talk about, of course. But anyways, my opponent's playing quite aggressively here. I did say that I would be moving in pretty aggressively myself, but since my opponent's basically just coming in to meet me, I might as well get a little bit more of an advantaged position here. And yeah, we'll just settle for this instead. My Blue Fire should be able to really give these Toads a hard time. And then Sartorial over here. Did I just call him Sartorial? Kairos Fate Weaver is going to be trying to pick off the rest of them. Let's go ahead and net down this Cultist and give him a good old focus fire. And right now the trading's going quite well for us. I would say I feel like we do have a pretty nice advantage here. There's the first summon, and I can simply disengage from it. Yeah, the Toad meta. The Toad meta is here. In general, Toads can be pretty scary. You can see they're even trading well into my Forsaken, but they don't really do that well against Spawn. So I'm very happy that I decided to take these guys, and this is one of the main reasons why you do want to have that extra mass in your Tzeentch armies, just to make sure that you don't get punished for having too much infantry. Very good versus Scorpius Chariots too. So just a tool that you generally want to have most of the time. As for these Plague Bearers, they're not too much of a problem since I can more or less just ignore them. And at this point, I guess we just get the Flamers. I'm feeling pretty safe about my current position in the game. And generally, when you have an advantage in army size, you want to go harder on the more expensive range units. That's your usual rule of thumb, I would say. But nice, most of the Toads are down. And already, so early into the battle, we have a very nice lead for ourselves right now. Nurgle basically has no units left, and we have a lot of units in general. And this is one of the major reasons why, as Nurgle, you usually want to be hanging back. Generally, it's pretty unsafe to take an engagement too early because this can definitely happen to you. Max Sis, hello! Happy to have you here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And we can't shoot at the Soul Grinder because you can see most of the fire gets shot overhead of my units. So, in general, it's not too bad. We won't see too much friendly fire overall. Although those cultists will be pretty annoying here. I should also start pulling some guys onto the point, and then probably a couple more spawn should do it. Bubba's, hello. Saying, I think the Exalted Flamethrower is more of an armor-piercing thing. Both of them are armor-piercing, actually. The normal Flamers and the Exalted. The big win here for these guys is that they have a little bit more damage. I think the Exalted has a bit more armor-piercing in melee, though. So if you want a unit that's a little bit more hardy, you can go for that. But nice, we have this point captured. I'm going to move off of it because if we do see forces coming from this angle, it's generally not going to be too much of a problem. As I can just reinforce that point if I need to. There you go, that's another cultist out of the way. And this is a great thing about Tzeentch, is that Tzeentch really does not worry about the cultists in the slightest. Out of all the factions, Tzeentch is very, very sturdy against these guys, and generally won't be too worried about cultists. Every other faction takes a really long time to kill them off, but Blue Fire is just a lifesaver here. And nice, the Soul Grinder is down. The cultists are routing off the battlefield. I can chase them off with my very inexpensive Furies, and then it's just going to be a high ground capture, and that should be the first victory of the day. Very, very nice. And if you ever have problems with Nurgle, in a tournament, Tzeentch is one of the best counter picks you can go for. Wasn't Flaming Chariot a good thing to get in when they have 3 single entities like this? Yes, I do have a Burning Chariot here, but when it comes to cultists, Kairos is just so good at killing them, I didn't even need the Burning Chariot. He is just that good with blue fire. And Regetmund saying, "Hey Enticity, I watched the games on Saturday." That's awesome to hear. "I have some suggestions. I think it improves engagement and focus." Yeah, if you go on the cinematic aspect of the game. Oh yeah, I got a lot of comments on that. Lots of people, I'm not used to appealing to such a wide audience. But it seems like a lot of people just, yeah, those poor toads. A lot of people really, really like seeing the game zoomed into the battles. I'm wondering how I want to do that, right? On one hand, it does sort of encourage my own style to stick to the really high-level tactical stuff, and then just zooming in whenever, and then basically just zooming in whenever there's a lot less tactics going on. Alternatively, I could sort of shift gears and do a sort of turn-type style of tournament. I'm not sure exactly how I want to do it yet. Obviously, if I'm just playing multiplayer, I'll do this, but for the next major tournament, if it's sort of outside my usual audience, I probably would go a lot more cinematic. Elmer saying, "I swear Nurgle looks so much worse when you're not playing them." Yeah, poor Nurgle. It's really a knife set. You either dominate or get annihilated. Also, by the way, the Flying Taco, the dreaded Flying Taco, he's back. Will he be able to win today? If he plays ogres, I think we are advantaged. Can you try out 3 flying chariots as a horror lord? Yeah, we can experiment a bit. It depends on what our opponent goes, but generally, Tzeentch is strong enough in the meta where we can pretty safely experiment. Here, let's go ahead and try that out. I'll go with the fire squad over here. So this is sort of an interesting tactic where you basically take a whole bunch of casters. You have an insane amount of Winds of Magic regeneration, and then you just have a crazy strong snipe squad versus any single entities that your opponent has. Yeah, here we go. This should be pretty good. Although it is very expensive, which is one of the weaker parts about this sort of mobile air squad, but we'll try it out. I'll also get the pink horrors. I want just a stupid amount of blues. They are still very strong. And then in the reinforcing army, I basically just need to focus on melee, since these guys are great against ogre kingdoms. Tzeentch, Forsaken, and Spawn are just very strong against ogres. You do have to be careful though, since you do want to be able to hold an area for a while. So we will try to fit in at least a couple pinks. There we go. And this is a generally pretty good composition. I usually wouldn't go for the heroes though, just because they do damage a bit too slowly, but this should be fine for a quick battle. Flying Chariot, not the discs. Oh, the burning chariots? Let's see, Eldrin. What? Can you try the 3 flying chariots as a horror lord and horror heroes? And use them like real chariots. Oh no, they don't work as real chariots. Yeah, no, these are just bad. These are really bad. Here, I'll take one. I'll take a lord like this and take one. But the chariots are terrible. I'll show off how they work as a chariot. It's sort of bad, unfortunately. Sort of very bad, actually. But yeah, I'll bring it. I think it technically has infinite ammo, so if you do want to play around with that, that is a possibility. All right, so nice. And then I can, here we go. We can do some shuffling, get some pinks in there. Well, actually, can I fit any more units here? Because generally you want to bring blues first. Pinks are a little bit risky because they can easily get shut down. Let's see, can I fit in, how many Forsaken can I fit in? Off by a little bit. Goodbye, Arcane Conduit. You served well. Alright, this'll do. Yeah, and I don't really plan to take a big melee fight for a while, so I'm pretty happy splitting up my spawn like this. Yeah, this looks good. All right, let's ready up. Oi. Elmer saying aren't flying chariots as mounts. Just not good though. Yeah, they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. They're quite slow. They don't do a lot of melee damage. They're expensive. I honestly don't know what they have going for them, but I will try them just for you guys. Let's see what else we have. Do they work? It depends on what you mean by work. The chariots are very bad in melee. They're called chariots. They're not actually chariots. Don't be deceived by their names. Yeah, not a zero spend. It's brutal. We tried to get it as much as we can, but not this time. Not this time. Yeah, so if you take a look at the actual stats here, chariots are good because they have very high charge bonus. This one does not. It doesn't have very good stats, and neither does it really have good animations. We'll be seeing that in a second here. As for our front line, Forsaken are great, Blues are great, and we want to just have our Forsaken nice and far forwards. There's no point in having our Blues so far ahead where they risk getting caught up in melee. And basically my goal here is to win the initial fight and then reinforce with a bunch of pinks. If I'm not winning the initial grind, I'll be summoning in more Forsaken and Spawn. And if we do see Stonehorns or Cavalry, that means that we'll be bringing in Screamers. And this is sort of this is like very bread and butter Tzeentch style of play. Usually you don't really diverge from this. And in the meantime, let's take a look at the Ogre Kingdoms. We have an Iron Blaster, very good against the sniping. There's a Tyrant, a Butcher, a Stonehorn, all in all pretty good. Blue Spam still OP? No, not OP, but definitely meta. Blue Spam is definitely the strongest. The thing is, it's for your gold, Blues will do the most damage over a 30-second period. But after that, they run out of steam. So they're really good at winning you in a point. They're not very good at holding that area. And that's what you have to be careful of there. Anyways, this guy, he's going to be pushing back the Iron Blaster. He generally won't take too much damage, but because he's on a chariot and not a disc, the Iron Blaster will do more damage to my Lord than it would usually. Unfortunately. In the meantime, I will continue summoning in Forsaken. The reason being, we are not particularly worried about mass running me over. The Stonehorn's quite far away. And I don't want my spawn to get killed by the Iron Blaster. What's this? Lead Belchers, alright. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and, there we go, get the blue fire off. Nice, and then dodge the Lead Belcher shot. Very, very good. That was a bit close. And then, yeah, I can just basically keep harassing this, but my guy's gonna take a bit of damage. And it's gonna be pretty difficult to dodge with him, too. Let's go ahead and keep pulling him back, and then I will get a unit of spawn now to try and cover the rest of my guys here. In fairness, each doesn't have exactly a whole lot of cheap infantry to choose from to begin with. Oh, you guys are talking about the Blues? Yeah, in general, Tzeentch does suffer on that front for sure. But Tzeentch's infantry that he does bring are still very strong. I wouldn't call Tzeentch a weak infantry faction. Yeah, these guys are, a lot of these guys are just a menace, so you do have to be careful with them. In the meantime, these Lead Belchers, my Lord can start poking away at them. This will do a little bit of damage. I will also get a unit of Furies, since they do trade very well into Lead Belchers. Looks like the Iron Blaster is firing at my Forsaken, that's fine. And right now my opponent's actually trading up. I'm surprised. I don't think he really did that much damage anywhere, but I guess that's gonna be the case. And it's gonna be pretty nice poke on my guys right now, but nothing that I'm too worried about, and I should be able to secure these points while still trading up throughout the battle. I know he has a lot of guys in the forest, so I do have to be a tiny bit careful. That's for the blue fire. Let's go ahead and there we go, melt us some Noblars. Good old wind spells like that are just amazing versus them. Definitely wanna be spamming that out as much as possible. Oh, it looks like yeah, they're going to stay in the battle. Very, very good for those trappers, but Anyways, the capture points have unlocked, and now the fighting gets started. Now we get to see how Flying Taco decides to engage here. So my spawn are going to block up this flank pretty well. I'm not particularly worried there. I also have Screamers in case he does commit into that fight. It looks like the forest is not too bad either. I would say like I'm doing a pretty good job of not taking too much damage. But it does mean Flying Taco is slowly building up his forces over time. Oh, do we have Tariff in chat again? Hey, look at that. Tariff just chilling in my chat. Always nice to have you here. All right, now let's see. Flying Taco, there we go. Pressure is on him to try and make a play. And we are going to be seeing a little bit of a move up from his army. Nothing too scary so far, though. I think I really just need another unit of spawn, and I'm fairly safe. Iron Blaster's getting a lot of damage, which is a little bit scary, but overall, I would say we're taking a pretty nice lead so far. He's just purely going for the value trades, but I plan to come back with when it comes to when the army's actually engaged. I'm sort of fine with him just going for this very long poke style, as we are trading pretty evenly in damage so far. The reason I'm not suiciding my Furies in is because the longer that they're in the air, the longer Flying Taco has to leave these Ogre Bulls behind. And it basically ensures that he's not going to be attacking me anytime soon. So that's sort of okay. And given the quantity of Ogre Bulls, I think I will summon another unit of Flyers. That seems like a fairly good choice. And let's go ahead and finish off these Lead Belchers before they get too much value. Yeah, I'll try to use a Chariot in melee. We'll try it. I do seriously doubt its capabilities, but it will be done. It shall be done. Alright, so it looks like he's trying to capture the point. He wants me to move up in melee a little bit. We're going to scoot ourselves up. Posing a little bit of a threat to ourselves, but not too much of one, and I can sort of reposition my forces to better deal with the situation. I'm also going to now charge a Lead Belcher since they're pretty close to routing. And it looks like his Ogres are going to be engaging. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into that fight. And then we'll use a spawn to block up the Stonehorn. And he does have a Saber Tusk pack in the back that I will have to worry about. But in general, I think it's not too much of a problem, as I can just summon Furies to shut him down. Alright, as for the Stonehorn, let's see. We didn't get the pin down with the spawn, so I'm actually going to ignore it right now. No reason to really take that fight just yet. Let's see, there we go. Furies are in. Very, very nice. Looks like this fight was won. And I can start pulling my Forsaken to catch these guys out. We want to focus fire, specifically the Ogre Bulls as much as possible. And then make sure that we have a ton of rear charges. I'm just not worrying about the single entities at all because generally there's just no reason to. There's no reason to worry about the single entities because I'm not going to kill them anytime soon anyways. I want to kill off all of their support first. And as soon as those guys are down, life is going to get a lot easier. As these guys without support are basically just sitting ducks. In the meantime, I guess I could just start poking down this Lord too. And as for my ammunition, I will go for a reload. There we go. And that'll make this engagement a little bit better for me. Let's go ahead and get another pink. That's for the Stonehorn specifically. Looks like this fight over here is a little bit sketchy. But the trading it's going okay for me. I think we still have a pretty solid advantage here. Most of his melee is now routed. And I will send in my guy into melee. We'll see how that goes. We're going to send him in onto those Saber Tusk packs. Over here, I think we've won this area handily, which means it's time to start dealing with this situation. So my spawn and my Screamers definitely want to get in there. And my Lord, he didn't do that much of the Saber Tusk packs. Let's go ahead and disengage him and get him into a safer position real quick. There we go. It's totally fine if he takes a little bit of damage too. And I'm focusing down the caster so that the Stonehorn doesn't see any healing. That would be a very bad situation. And there we go. We have him routed. Very, very good. So next up is the Stonehorn. The Lord's going to be a little bit of a pain to actually deal with. So I don't really want to focus him down just yet. Stonehorn's gonna die pretty hard to my pinks, but actually with some more Ogre Bulls showing up, I probably want to focus them down first. Priorities are super important. Target priority in general for Tzeentch. You have to be very careful about that. Make sure that you're shooting at the right targets. Otherwise, a lot of your damage can go wasted, and that would be quite bad. Can we please see more land battles? Well, there's no way to easily get land battles going, right? You know, if the feature was a bit more easy, but like I basically have to DM people to get land battles going, and that's not exactly the easiest thing to set up in terms of rapid matches, sadly. But you know, maybe one day we'll get them. In the meantime, it looks like nice caster hero is getting out of there. Iron Blaster's out of ammunition. So even though we're technically behind on value, in terms of actual battlefield units, we have much higher killing power. And nice. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and grab get another blue fire over there. Our value is very high right now, and I'm just gonna send in a distraction blue horror to make life a little bit harder for my opponent here. Here we go. Stonehorn is very low now. And oh, we do have some trappers on the high ground. That could help Flying Taco out quite a bit. What do we see? We see some Mournfang cavalry. Honestly, it's not over just yet. Flying Taco could very well come back here, as a lot of my units are starting to lose steam. I basically just have to spawn here. But there we go. That guy's finally down. I do have blues on the high ground. And then I can start summoning blues on the low ground to capture. This area I don't really have to worry about too much. And I can just start aggressively pushing into the middle to try and get that capture going. Nice. We have some very beat up Noblars over there. That's not really too much of a problem. And there are the glorious trappers. So I want to get them cleared out as soon as I can. Let's see, can I get an overcast pink fire? No, it looks like you have to normal cast, unfortunately. But hey, this is a good opportunity to go into melee with our glorious chariot. Will it actually do well? Definitely not, but we're gonna do it anyways. All right, and we have to get onto this point. Try and take it back, as Flying Taco does have quite a few. He has quite a few guys here. As for the actual like units that we have left, armies are starting to run pretty thin. Not gonna lie, but if we do manage to hold this high ground, I think we should be good. Especially with our point lead right now. And then we just have to make sure that this middle area, this bottom area, doesn't get captured. It does look like it is fairly close though. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see, it all depends on how well the Mournfang cavalry actually hold out, but they're taking so much damage, I don't think they'll be able to get that anytime soon. Over here, we're very close to that capture. And in the middle, it looks like the fighting's pretty close. Oh my gosh, that is so good for us. They route off at the last second, and Flying Taco is no longer capturing the bottom area. That is huge for us. Stonehorn's nearly gone. I don't know. This is gonna be a bit of a scrap. I'm gonna summon in pinks just because they're infantry and they'll get here a bit faster. Over here, we will be able to slowly stop this point from getting captured. Those trappers don't manage to hold it and keep it together, and I think we might be good. We'll see. Let's go ahead and pull on the rest of my guys onto the middle point. As for this area, it looks like it will get more and more in the favor of Flying Taco. Will we be able to touch it in time? I'm not entirely sure, but we will have the high ground, and right now we are going to win if we just hold 1 point. So I think that's fine. He does steal the point, sadly, so that blue was a bad commitment, sadly. But over in the middle, it looks like we are capping. I think we won. I think we've won this. Let's go ahead and grab one of these guys and pull them down onto the low ground to threaten a cap in the middle. And then, yeah, one more pink to try and pull in over there. Ooh, yeah, that was pretty sketchy. Oh, actually, Flying Taco is going all in on the top. I need to hold that then. Let's go ahead and get the pinks there. In the middle, it's looking pretty rough. The Tyrant's not doing too much. Our Chariot Lord, I don't think he did that much damage in melee. Honestly, I think the Chariot is such a bad idea for melee. Oh man, it felt like for basically the entire battle, he wasn't really doing too much, but there we go. We finally got to the middle point. Let's go ahead and grab some Furies too. We captured the middle, which is brutal for Flying Taco, and that's going to be the win for us. That's true. He did route a Stonehorn. That is very true. You can't be wrong about that. But yeah, no, it's just so janky. It's so much slower. He got good value off of Blue Fire, but it's not like it's plowing through infantry really. Hey, thank you, Bubbas. Let's see. Ulysses. Uli? I don't know. Anyways, do you prefer domination tournaments or land battle tournaments? When it comes to hosting and playing, I prefer domination tournaments. When it comes to actually playing with friends, I think I enjoy both, but like the general like idea of land battles I like more. It's mostly because when it comes to competition, land battles get like sort of really bad, right? It gets super duper cheesy. You have to add a ton of rules, and then people are, you know, they rely on their admins to say who wins and who loses. So it's getting hot again. Anyways, yeah, it's not a perfect situation. And that's sort of one of the reasons I really prefer domination. But if Creative Assembly just find a way to fix land battles by, like, you know, adding capture points to land battles or something, or what have you, then I think that would sort of be my preferred solution. Ulysses. Ah, there you go. Thank you for the correction. Did we crash? Did we crash? Oh, no. Oh, you lost connection to the game? Wait, are we still connected to the internet as a whole? It looks like we are. Okay. Okay, nice. We can just find another match, and I guess it was my opponent. Yeah. Yeah, land battle rules. You have to attack. No corner camping. But 200 meters is fine, but more than 200 meters is not fine sometimes. And by the way, if the terrain's sticking out, that sort of matters too. And you can't have maps with hard terrain blockers. Otherwise, people will camp that like it's the corner. And just like, the list goes on. And then after that, because they already have so many rules, people are encouraged to add even more on top of that. Like, their specific unit caps, they keep doing that. They're like, all right, now this is a single entity monster. This is just a single entity. Here are some exceptions. And then on top of all that, we have specific unit limits for units that are over 2,200 gold if they are single entity monsters. Like, you get used to it eventually. And for most people, it doesn't actually matter. But when you compare it to domination, even though it has many flaws, like just the unit cap sort of being inconsistent and so on, and it's just it's way easier to play as a player, I would say. Yeah. Yeah, no cycle charging with the last entity, but you are allowed to charge between units in a circle if they're attacking you. My goodness, writing the rules and trying to figure out what works is a whole job in and of itself. But all right, so we have Kislev. They are a pretty strong faction against Tzeentch. One of the big problems here for us is that they can really go hard on chariots, and we don't have a whole ton to really deal with that. Of course, we can get these guys. We can bring chariots to melt down their single entities. We have blue fire. We also have, where is it at? Yeah, we have blue fire. We have blue fire. We have what's it? There we go. Gaze of Fate, and Gaze of Fate is great for netting them down for the chariots. So I'm gonna take one and not two, just so that I'm not going all in on the strategy. And then after that, it's probably the same type of Forsaken spawn style. Oh, I could go for an Exalted Flamer too, assuming it goes for a mass ranged build. This is not too bad. And then at this point, yeah, some Forsaken, so we actually have a front line. I definitely want a lot of blues, a lot of blue horrors. And what else is really good here? I guess Spawn are really good. Spawn are great because they pin down chariots and stop them from cycle charging through your infantry. I also wish I could get pinks, but I don't think I have the extra funds for it. Not to mention this Exalted Flamer basically does that job already. Nice. Yeah, I'm sort of liking this build. Oh, I maxed out on air units. Interesting, interesting. Let's see. I guess I'll take another Forsaken and a blue. Yeah, this feels okay. It feels very okay. This is not the perfect build against Kislev, but I'm going to try it. Yeah, the Exalted Flamer is the fancy part here. I did some experimenting before, and you can sort of make it work if you do it right. Yeah, Gaze of Fate is great. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I speak really quickly on stream. I was watching the tournament the other day, just sort of going through the VOD, and yeah, like, when there's a lot to talk about for Warhammer at the same time, I just like blitz through a lot of points. I feel like the pace is a little bit too fast, but it's still pretty fun, I guess. I don't know, I might tone it back a little bit next time for the big tournaments. Tzeentch how-to against Warbear Riders or Skull Crushers effectively. Like how to beat them, generally what you want are Chaos Spawn. When in doubt, Chaos Spawn is the saying that the Chaos Warriors chant. But yeah, actually, Chaos Spawn are so good against cavalry because of their armor sundering in mass. Just in general, monstrous infantry will do well there. So usually that's basically it. I wouldn't go for more mobility to counter it because generally Tzeentch's mobility is quite bad. Or alternatively, you can also use Screamers, but they can be a bit finicky because of how squishy they are. Can you try a Knights build later? Yeah, sure. It depends on the matchup, but I'd be down to go for a mass cavalry style. The important thing is we just have to make sure our opponent doesn't have a crazy cavalry force, like, because yeah, Tzeentch Doom Knights and normal Knights will lose catastrophically against other cavalry. Why are you not upgrading your units with the 150 gold left? It's because it makes them more expensive for summoning without making them more cost effective, because they're going to be more higher price but less value per gold spent. And because domination is so supplies heavy, it means that you'll be able to get them out faster. It means that it's actually bad to give Chevron sometimes, strangely. But alright, his build has a Costalton. He has a bunch of ranged units, some armored Cossars. That's a bit of a danger for my burning chariots. But overall, I would say I feel pretty confident about this situation. Not too worried. Although the Zargard are pretty bad. I think my Exalted Flamer should do well against them. And immediately I think what I want, probably, I don't know, maybe just a blue over here to push back his guys. Yeah, I'll figure out what I want later. I feel pretty comfortable with what I have right now, so I don't really need to do too much. In the meantime, I can just poke away with the Exalted Flamer. And then I probably do want Forsaken to start moving up too. But yeah, the Exalted Flamer is great because it does fairly wide AoE attack from a distance. And you can see against the Zargard over there, actually missing pretty heavily. Well, that's a bad showcase of my point. Here we go, second shot coming out. This one should get some pretty nice damage. He does pull away, but it's pretty nice poke. It's pretty nice poke. I stand by that idea. In the meantime, he's going to be trying to poke down my chariot, but I'm not too worried, and it can hit a moving Costalton if we are a little bit careful. But oh jeez, that is a hail of fire if I've ever seen it. Come on, is it staggering? No, oh no, my chariot. There we go. Let's just pull that bad boy back real quick. Yeah, so that was a pretty bad misplay. That is a very, very expensive unit that could die here now. And you have to be very careful about your chariots for sure. If you do get shot at, they can very easily just get deleted there. I'm going to try to pull it back together with some Kairos leadership boosting, but it's taking a lot of damage right now. No, oh, my champion unit. Come on, keep it together. Keep it together, you're surrounded by allies. Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah, that was a big misplay, but you know, it still got a bit of damage on Castalton. But yeah, I have to remember to be way more careful with it. On the other hand, though, our Exalted Flamer is doing all right. So there is that. Yeah, big oof. Big oof. Exalted Flamer is great, though. Look at this damage. It's crazy. All right, now my opponent has some more Horse Archers on the high ground. I'm not worried about that at all. We'll just continue poking with them. Yeah, big oof. It's fine, though. We're still doing good. Look at our value. Despite that, we're still trading up. I think right now our opponent's probably playing a little bit too passively. I don't blame him, though. Our army is quite scary. Yeah, the Stunlock's pretty bad. You know, if they end up never fixing it, that's not the worst thing in the world. If you do move with your units, they will not get hit by the Stunlock. So if you do want to sort of avoid it, make sure you stay on the move. If you're idle and getting shot at, that's when it's gonna happen. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a quadruple stagger. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. But hey, look at this. Value on this guy. Already paid for himself. He's used up all his ammunition, but it doesn't matter because... yeah, it doesn't matter because he has a reload all the way over here. These Exalted Pinks can just restock his ammunition and he'll be good. And Shiva with the 100 currency of... I've never seen that currency before, but thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shiva. Let's see. Let's go ahead and... There we go. There's ammunition restock. And let's get him back in there. Now, he has summoned some cavalry. I'm not super worried about it, but I do want to have my spawn there coming into support. In the meantime, we'll continue the Castalton snipe as well as we can. But yeah, thank you for your... Let's see, what did you say? Can't sub on YouTube. So it's going to be... Wait. Can't sub on YouTube, so it's going to be this. All right, cool, cool. You know, you can become a member. Yeah, joining the members is sort of like Twitch subscriptions. But thank you so much. Hey, Lore Master of Tzeentch, hello. Yeah, you finally made a stream. Amazing. Happy to have you here. Is it rupees? That's it. How goes the wind farming? Quite well. Our opponent just disconnected. But I'm going to call that a win because we were pretty ahead on value. All of that poor chariot, man. I think we basically won that with a single Exalted Flamer. Look at that. 3 losses. Amazing. Anyways. But yeah, it's going pretty good. Tzeentch, I think we're rocking like an almost like an 85% win rate with all the factions that we've played. It's crazy. Well, so by the way, anyone who doesn't know Lore Master of Tzeentch, I have no idea how. But if you haven't actually seen his channel, it is exactly what you would expect it to be. It's a lore Warhammer channel. It also covers a lot of Warhammer 3 content. If you want to know more about Warhammer lore in general, he's like the perfect place to go. It's great. I watch like all of his videos, man. It's amazing. But yeah. And despite having watched all of them, I still barely know anything about Warhammer lore because it is just that vast. But yeah. Anyways, that was a pretty short game, thankfully. Yeah, just as planned. We forced it. We DDoSed them. That's how we get the wins. Let's see. Just like there is lesser demon lords and greater demon lords, how would you imagine a lesser lord that is a demon prince? Oh, it would be Yuri, wouldn't it? It would just be Yuri. But I don't know if we have Lore Master of Tzeentch here, the man himself. He could probably answer. Hey, Breakdown Gaming. Thank you. I'm happy to provide good content. Oh, and it's Slaanesh. Now, Slaanesh is one of those factions that can get just brutally memed on by Tzeentch. So if you guys want to give suggestions for units that you want to see, feel free. I will take I will take whatever units you want me to. And we're going to win against Slaanesh anyways, because I think they are that weak. Yeah, so this is going to be my starting army, all right? Every other unit that you guys suggest, I will take it, all right? 1 flaming chariot, nice. Double soul grinder, very nice. We can only take 1, sadly, but we can go for a disc boy. I will do that. Let's go ahead and just only throw him on a disc. Let's see. Go Doom Knights. Nice. Very good. Lord of Change. Ooh, we're running out of funds. Can I squeeze it in? Can I squeeze it in? Screamer spam. We're out of. You know, I can't take 1 Screamer. There we go. Actually, I do need the 2 Furies. Yeah, we're out of flying units. ROR pinks done. All right. There we go. And this is going to show you guys why Slaanesh is not the best faction against Tzeentch. I think this core alone of Spawn and Forsaken is gonna delete them, but we'll see if I eat my words here. You know, this is a challenge one in a sense. Hey, Tzeentch coming in with the lore. Demon princes are much more of a spectrum than the usual demons. Oh, okay. So instead of lesser and greater, you just have weak and strong ones. I see. So it's like, all right. I guess that's not like crazy exciting. Do the strong ones get like cooler body parts from the gods? Is that how that works? I don't know. All right, but anyways, here's the thing about Slaanesh. They're very fast. So yeah, I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win against Slaanesh. They have nothing else going for them. Of course, I did forget to bring a good wind spell. So there's a chance that maybe a mass infantry style could wreck us here. But we'll see. Yeah, feel free to root for Slaanesh here. You know, there is a chance that they'll be able to get a good army together. You never know. I think many. Wait, let's see. One Xavier saying Xavier. I don't know. I'm saying I think there aren't many of them, so they're each pretty unique. I see. So it's like you should be looking for named demon princes instead. It's more the stronger ones, as they make their patron god happy, are granted more power. I see. Cool. You mean it's not lore accurate that they just switch body parts on a whim? I'm disappointed by CA. Alright. So here's the build. We have a bunch of Spawn, we have a whole bunch of Forsaken, and then we have the Menace, Kairos in the air. His job is basically to shut down any single entity that dares show their face to the Tide of Tzeentch. I'm gonna go and control these 2 areas as they are interconnected. I can bounce between them quickly, and that should negate most of Slaanesh's advantage. It will be pretty hard to flank me too, so I think that's what we want to do. Technically, if you wanted a super meta build against Slaanesh, you would take a lot more pinks, and you would go a bit harder on the Air Force, a lot more Furies probably. But yeah, this is sort of the gist of it. Anyways, what do we have? We have some Cavalry, Hellstriders, nice. Some Chaos Furies, and some Seekers. Man, I wish I had brought a wind spell, but it's fine. We'll make do. If I lose this game, that would be embarrassing. But I'm pretty confident that we'll be fine. Anyways, now I mostly want to go for air dominance at first. And that means likely summoning just a whack load of Furies. This means that no cycle charging will be done in this here battle. And that also means that my blue fire is best suited for hitting up these guys. Because then, yeah, as soon as my Furies have dominance, they can just hugely support my infantry corps. Let's see, we do have a few Marauders, which is a pretty cool pick. I think Marauders could do okay here. And in the meantime, I'll go for the slow 2-cap strategy. So that means taking this at 3 minutes and this one 4 minutes later. And maybe we'll even get Doom Knights if we really want to. Hey, there we go. We found his lord. They are on a chariot of all things. And it has basically no armor, which is pretty scary when it comes to facing against Tzeentch. You can see over here, if we do cast a blue fire on her, it's basically going to be taking out like maybe a third of her HP. Right on the mark. About 1/3 instantly gone. Actually, that's less than a third. Yeah, no, I was wrong. Because it's less than 25%. But still a pretty good amount of damage. And in the course of about a minute, I expect her to go down. Looks like some Seekers in the back are going to be playing quite aggressively, but I'm not terribly worried about that. And we can take this fight over here with my Furies. I just have to buff them up with Harmonic Convergence. And they should clear these guys out quite fast. There we go. Instant Rampage on those guys. We're going to get a counter charge on the Summoned Furies. And hopefully we make it out without too much damage being taken. As for the unit that I'm waiting for, I'll probably summon in the Doom Knights next. I think they're the next best unit I can take here. Nice. And it looks like he is going for a bit of a surround. I'll pull my guys back there. We want to dodge that ability as much as we can. Kairos can go ahead and get another missile spell off. There we go. Lord at half HP now. Now she's a little bit worried. Just a little bit. And nice. We have our engagement. The spawn are blocking up beautifully. We have Doom Knights that can, they don't want to fight Seekers of Slaanesh. And here we go. What is this? A Demonette unit of Slaanesh. All right. Let's see here. Oh, but the Lord's playing very aggressively. I don't know how I feel about that. She's gonna be eating it real soon. There's another blue fire drops. And then you know what? We're just going to net her down and then just launch a missile right on top of her. So these guys, we wanna charge those guys. Oh my gosh, she's dead. She's already dead. She crumbled away. That's brutal. Oh my gosh, yeah, and this is looking pretty scary now. Especially now that I have my Doom Knights going. I think we won it. This is, yeah, the big problem with Slaanesh is that she simply does not have... Slaanesh does not have the Lords that can actually tank against Tzeentch for any reasonable amount of time. So they're basically always playing without Winds of Magic. Their infantry is pretty weak too. You can see they've lost quite handily to my Spawn and Forsaken. And now we just close out the game. Brutal. Brutal. I might even be able to win this without summoning in more units, but I don't want the game to last longer than it has to. Oh man, that was such a brutal start though. Oh my goodness. Looks like you're a local team playing versus an NBA team. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, one day if multiplayer gets big enough for Creative Assembly, I really hope that we see proper matchmaking. I think right now they don't have enough. I'm pretty sure they don't have enough people to get like really strict matchmaking going. So this is sort of what we have to deal with in the short run. If Slaanesh and Tzeentch switched cultists, I think they'd be pretty happy. That's true. Well, I don't know how, well, maybe. I don't know. Slaanesh cultists are pretty good. I would not give them up easily, though being able to summon in range units is a pretty big advantage. Yeah, I honestly don't know how I would feel about that. It would give Slaanesh ranged, which is amazing. But that's basically the gist of it, isn't it? Now, I think his Furies are trying to dive in on mine. I'm not entirely sure. In fact, he is slowing us down on the capture pretty hard, so it could take us a hot second to get our second point. But there we go. There's another route on those units, and I guess we save up for a Soul Grinder now. Now these guys, they have skirmish mode on? Oh, come on. Why do they have skirmish mode on? Man, it's one of those bugs. One of those bugs. We lost a beautiful volley for these guys, but it should be fine. Dang it, the skirmish mode. How dare they? How dare they have that on? Anyways, we'll continue onwards. We'll live. Let's go ahead and pull these guys into the middle, and then I think we're good. And actually, wow, look at that. Exalted Pink Horrors. Never underestimate their stats. They took a huge charge from Hellstriders, and they don't even care. They're still at full HP, and they rout them before their shields go away? That's insane. Oh my gosh. Well, never mind. Didn't even matter that they had skirmish mode on. Do the flying chariots work like skull cannons in melee? Well, they don't regenerate ammo, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Alright, so we have a few Furies coming on in. They're going to do a pretty good job at slowing us down, but unfortunately, I don't think it will be enough. Although I do expect them to do a little bit of damage versus my pinks. In the meantime, we should be able to swipe this point relatively quickly. We'll have Forsaken there in a second. And then it's just about locking down areas. Mostly just spawning out some Soul Grinders wherever they're needed, and we should be good to go. And look at that. They did survive the Furies, but they went down about a third HP, which is a bit scary. Yeah, the value difference, about 5k value difference. Pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. And this is like, the crazy thing is that if you played against Slaanesh with this build, it would not be that difficult to do what I had just done today. Tzeentch is a very strong faction against specific other factions, especially against Slaanesh and Nurgle. It is like a dream for Tzeentch, man. He loves it. Nice. I guess we get a Soul Grinder now. The last minute Soul Grinder. It's not going to really do too much here, but we'll keep an eye on it. I mean, like in the animation and way of fighting, Skull Cannons are... Oh, yeah. They sort of... they don't have like a charge attack. That's correct. They sort of just like twirl around a bit, and that's how they do damage. So, yeah, that can usually be a bit of a problem. Alright, nice. So that's those guys routed off. We have our Exalteds doing great. Soul Grinder is going to hold down that location soon enough, and now it's just sitting back and relaxing. We'll be gaining... we'll have the triple cap on our opponent. But yeah, if you really want to ruin Slaanesh, you take a wind spell. You go for a ton of blues, Forsaken and Spawn, and then a whole bunch of Furies. And you will basically be unkillable against Slaanesh. It's insane. Alright, nice. I guess Kairos can move on in over here. Without the support of their Lord, I think it's just too much. And also another crazy thing. This really shows why Kairos is so great. Even on a fairly cheap kit, he managed to kill off the enemy Lord just with blue fire spam. Kairos is sort of ends up just being a menace because you don't have to dedicate that much gold to sniping. In the earlier metas of Warhammer 3, a lot of people would sort of just take 3 sniping lords at the same time, and that would sort of be overkill. Nowadays, you go a lot more modest on it, and that's more than enough for most situations. Enticity, who are you most excited to play in Immortal Empires? Probably Vampire Coast, as they were my main back in the Warhammer 2 days. Vampire Coast is one of my favorite gunpowder factions, but I sort of fear that they're too slow to really command the battlefield. We've seen with factions like Cathay that slow infantry is really bad, but they will have scurvy dogs, and if they have infantry capture weight, then that'll be fine. Do you think they'll do well versus demons? Probably not. Historically, Vampire Coast does bad versus factions that don't route, because they really do rely on their on units routing to make sure that, you know, they're kept at a safe shooting distance. Yeah. Sirens will probably be good. Yes and no. Healing got nerfed for ethereal units, so Sirens are actually not as great as they were before. Also, can I think the comeback mechanic real quick? Only now is my opponent getting the comeback mechanic. At this point, he is getting about 33% more funds. Is it working as intended? Probably not, but that's a rant that I've had enough of. We talk about this every time it shows up, but I feel like it's important to that it is brought up so that eventually it does get at least tuned in a way that helps. Can't wait until you have some demons against lizardmen. I think lizardmen are going to be really good versus demons. Lizardmen have some of the most cost-efficient single entities in the game. Crab spam, maybe. I would say crab spam has a good chance of working. It's just that that's not the classic Vampire Coast gun style, you know? Do you think mortars will be good in domination? Yes. Mortars are pretty high DPS artillery, so I think they will do well. Alright, nice. There goes his poor cavalry summon. They lasted all but a few seconds. Oh, we're actually out of units. That's brutal. That's brutal. What are we seeing? Ah, he summoned further back this time. Let's see if we can hound him down. Fits in lore. What part fits in lore? What, the part about mortars? But yeah, I think crab spam has a pretty good chance of doing well. I wouldn't count it out. But I really hope that we see some better what's it? Like some more unique playstyles from Vampire Coast. Not many factions can pull off a gun line in competitive multiplayer. So it's and Vampire Coast was one of the only factions that could do it back in the day. Yeah, lizards will probably be quite good. Their kite is just so strong. Nice, there we go. We've done it. We've done it. How much value did Kairos get? Any bets? Any bets on the value that Kairos got? His Lord got 166. And all the way over here, Kairos, almost 3,000. Just a tiny bit over 3,000. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Decisive victory. Wow. Wow, the BM. The BM from the game. Oh my gosh, and I thought it was just me. Pretty good. Pretty good. Tzeentch is a menace. Tzeentch is a menace. I do want to try out more Exalted Flamers, though, because they're a pretty fun unit. Yeah, Gunbats are going to be quite strong, but against Demons with Furies and any faction that has Harpies, Gunbats will have a much harder time. Oh, I wouldn't say embarrassing. I'm probably one of the most practiced Warhammer players in the world. So, you know. I wouldn't say that bad. Yeah, I gotta give myself at least a little bit of credit, right? Whew. What could Slaanesh do to have won? If they had gone for a Soul Grinder Lord, played a lot more defensively, and waited for a late game battle. That's generally how Slaanesh wants to play it out. Oh, another lag? Come on. Dovahkeen, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Saying, I must take my leave. Peace out, man. Have a wonderful day. I'll do what I can to keep the multiplayer community nice and healthy. I'm really happy with this tournament. And just in general, it seems like a lot of people are interested in multiplayer. Because I got a lot of like campaign folk that were happy to watch that. So as long as that keeps up, I will continue streaming multiplayer. Though I am, oh my gosh, we actually connected. Though I really want to get into some campaign action as soon as the PC shows up. Ooh. What do we have? I don't know. What build do we want to go today? I don't want to do Tzeentch, Spawn, and Forsaken every game, but they are your bread and butter. I'll probably, you know, I could go for a Tzeentch gun line. That could be pretty fun, actually. You know, some of this business. Anybody excited for this? Come on, how could you not be? How could you not be excited for this? This is massive. Good old, you know what? We can even take out the Kairos, do something like this. Come on, this is glorious. There cannot be a build that is stronger than this. All right, I do need a Lord though, so Kairos has to go in here in the back pocket. But yeah, I'm liking this. This looks pretty fun. Yeah, it's all ranged every day. This is what happens when there's no Vampire Coast. It's against Kislev. We're doomed. We're doomed. I don't know if we can easily beat Kislev with this build, but I'll try it. I need a little bit against cavalry, so that means some screamers, and then Forsaken probably. Probably Forsaken. Is this it? Is this the build? One spawn. This is such a meme build. This is such an insane meme build. Yeah, here we go. So, here's the thing. Kislev is one of the best factions in a firefight. One of the best factions. But we're gonna do it anyways, because it's hilarious. And it also makes for good videos, so... let's do it. This is emergency melee summons to, you know, support these guys. We can't take... We can't take more ranged. I think we're maxed out on that. So basically what I have to do, I need to be able to secure the middle point. And I probably want to summon in Furies if he has a lot of ranged, and then just spam Screamers if he brings in cavalry. Thankfully the map is pretty good for a mass range build, since there's not too many angles of attack for cavalry. And of course, there's also the fact that we just have so many units that I doubt he'll be able to occupy all of them. So if we do see Warbear Riders, they're probably going to die. Who would win, Wood Elves or Tzeentch? Wood Elves 100%. So Tzeentch is actually not a main shooting faction. Tzeentch loses versus a lot of the other ranged factions. Instead, Tzeentch is good because he's a hybrid of everything. He has fairly above average melee, above average ranged, and above average spellcasting. If you want a generalist faction and you're playing the meta, Tzeentch turns out Tzeentch is actually the best faction for that. Oh, we're on Galleon's Cove. I thought we were on the other map. Whoopsies. Tariff saying, I saw tons of complaints about the domination mode, but you don't play multiplayer. Is it that bad? Domination is very different from land battles. And because of that, it's just not the right game mode for a lot of people. So, like, rightfully so, essentially Creative Assembly removed a game mode that people really enjoyed, and then made a new game mode that a different group of people enjoyed. So, it just gets really polarizing. Is the game mode itself bad? Not really. The game mode's actually pretty great. It's balanced fairly well for all the factions. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of tactics. The spectacle is lower, though. But the overall decision making is better as a whole. So there's a whole thing about it. It's more complicated than black and white, but yeah, definitely not the best case scenario. In the best case scenario, it would have been we would have seen a fixed land battle mode where that doesn't need external rules, and then we would see you know, if they want to add domination mode as a separate mode, then they do that. But for now, this is what we get. Now, here's the thing. This army's sort of weird because it is just a rectangle arranged. And I need to find a good area to actually fire from. Here is a decently open space. And up here we can cover that. Yeah, this is okay. This is such a wide army. It's almost unwieldy trying to maneuver this. If we were on Arnheim or something, life would be easier, but it's fine. Yeah, you're really curious after seeing the complaints? Yeah. For a time, people were really hating on domination. At this point, they've sort of simmered down a little bit, but there's definitely, it hasn't been resolved by any means. It's unnecessary to remove ranked land battles. Well, there's an argument about it, right? Because the land battles in Warhammer 2 weren't working either. Yeah, land battles in Warhammer 2 weren't working, so I can see why they did it. And it's still available in custom battle, so I think that's sort of a good situation while they fix it up. Yeah, the Doom rectangle. What can Kislev do against such powerful ranged? It's so bad that this formation is so tight, though. Optimally, I would want my formation to be about this long for this amount of range units. This is very close quarters and uncomfortable to for maneuvering. Yeah, I really like domination too. It's you know, in the end, people are just polarized is all. All right. So I'm seeing, here we go. There's his units. Let's go ahead and fly on over here, and by fly I mean walk. I will summon a single unit of screamers, and we're gonna do screamer control over here. I think the biggest threat for me is cavalry, and I really don't want to get. Yeah, look at that instant Griffin Legion. He went mass range too. What a lad! What a lad! Now I do have better control of the map over here, so there is that. We did preemptively summon the correct unit, so that means that they will be able to support my army a bit better. And it's basically impossible for him to advance into this choke point easily. As for me, I probably need to... I might even want to push up here. Just a little bit. It's an awkward choke point, but I do want some guys on the high ground too. I guess we sit back and wait. Screamers are just chilling. And then... yeah, we just capture 1 point. We're not really in a rush. Because if I capture this point too early, he may get the comeback points, and I wouldn't want that. Oh man, is chat becoming a debate about whether or not domination is good or not? You guys. Yeah, but there's pros and cons to both. How do I want to hold that top area? I think Forsaken are probably good. I sort of really want to have Kairos because he's great. Just as a distraction guy at the very least, but yeah, let's move these guys up. Now, here's a big problem about Tzeentch ranged. Generally, my opponent's gonna have a lot more range than me, and he can outpoke me over a long battle. So I have to be just like very cautious about that in general. Just because whoever has more units firing is generally gonna come out on top. Look at that, we got some Zargard, very cool. Let's get these guys up top. Oh, he is going for the note cap. Interesting. Well, I will take my time. If your opponent chooses not to capture points, generally the best idea is to just wait. And just sort of hold one point and then wait for later in the battle. But it looks like he is going for the other cap, so that's totally fine for me. Zargard are going to be contesting this high ground area. Do I want to capture it just yet? It's a little... Let's see. By the time we're at 2,000, yeah, I'll wait a bit. I don't want to be too hasty here, as things could go south for me very, very quickly. He also has a... Let's see. What's the range of these guys? He has 140 range to my 90. I have 130 on my Exalteds and 130 on those guys. So he does outrange me. I do have to be quite careful here. Let's get my longer range units up front and center real quick. We'll reposition these guys. This is such an awkward maneuver. It's really hard to figure out how I want to position myself here. And there we go. The Zargard are moving on in. So they're going to be trying to get the damage in. I do have a decent concave here. Let's see. Where did my Furies go? Furies! Over here! Let's get the Forsaken going too. And then I can countercharge his cavalry with my Screamers. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. Looks like he's going for the snipe on my Lord. That's what one may expect. And let's go ahead and grab some more Furies and try and shut these guys down. It should make life a little bit easier for me. And I'm going to sub out my range so that the blues are tanking instead. That should make life a little bit better. Over here, I do finally want to capture this point. If anything, just so that my units are actually supporting each other. And we are getting pretty decent... Yeah, we're getting pretty decent coverage of melee here. The Zargard are a bit of a problem. I think I may turn fire and just focus them down. That may just be the best way to deal with them. Over here, I will summon Screamers to deal with the Griffin Legion. And it seems like the fight is going okay. It's going very all right. Let's give ammo while we have the support. And the Zargard, they will be going down. Very nice, but they do have Unbreakable, which is pretty rough. Honestly, I don't know how this fight's gonna go because my opponent has so much... He has such a stronger range superiority over me that it does make this fight go pretty badly. There we go. Zargard get their thing fucked, so that's good. His cavalry's not doing too great, and I will have some pinks actually supporting in a second here. So I do have that going for me. But yeah, this choke point's not it's not working for me. Look at that. He's starting to climb back in value. That's not great. Oh dear. Oh dear, look at that. He's causing a lot of problems. And this is one of the main reasons why Tzeentch does not appreciate getting into a range fight with Kislev. My range units simply don't have the armor piercing to really beat this out, but we're gonna scrap it out. This fight's going decently, although I may have lost my Lord, sadly. Let's see how it goes. We do have the pinks over here. They're going to be able to assist. And can I snipe out his Lord is a question that I ask myself. She is rather exposed. I may be able to pull something off, but we'll see. How my Screamers doing? It's a little bit awkward, but here we go. She's out of position. This could be the play that I need to come back here. In the meantime, we will continue to summon Furies. There we go. Dang, but I think she makes it out. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. All right. Well, she's going to live. Let's go ahead and pull over here. And then, let's see. How do we want to deal with this? I'm not liking his cavalry here. And I guess we'll send in the Screamers. Oh, look at that crossfire. Brutal, brutal crossfire from my opponent. Let's see. We have more armored Kossars, too. Dang, he has a very good build for us, but... Let's see, how's the value trading going? It's not over just yet. It's not over just yet. I do have Forsaken finally on his backline too. There we go, his cavalry has routed. But another one's gonna be coming on in. Winged Lancers. I need my pinks to actually help in that fight over there. Yeah, look at that. His melee trading is impeccable. This might be it, guys. This might be it. First loss of the day. The Tzeentch mass range build. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get some more Screamers going. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. Yeah, we'll get a few more Screamers going. We'll keep firing at these guys, and then... Ooh, man, that focus fire on the Forsakens. Brutal. Brutal. Yeah, we memed too hard. I think against some other factions it would have been good, but... Yeah, this is not going to go great. Alright, GG to our opponent. He's won it. We have no chance of coming back. Well played, well played. Dang. I should have known, though. But, it was fun. Yeah, you can see my pinks just were not able to trade very cost efficiently. When you have less range and your formation is so deep, it's really hard to get multiple units firing at the same time. Do not fall for the same trap. One loss. Oh, man. Does that mean Cathay is better than Tzeentch? Not like this. Not like this. Yeah, the cheap caster's okay. Definitely not the big game winner there. It's just in this case, armored Kossars are basically unkillable for Tzeentch. If you don't go for a melee centric build. Do you have a general favorite faction in multiplayer? For Warhammer 3, I believe it's I very much like I do like Slaanesh a lot. But like Ogre or Nurgle's actually pretty fun to play, I'm not gonna lie. Nurgle's quite the joy. Yeah, let's go for like an exalted nope, we're up against ogres. No exalted build this time. Alright, well we gotta redeem ourselves now. We must redeem ourselves. How do you beat ogres? The general blueprint, you wanna go for some spawn and Forsaken. This time around, I wanna experiment at least a little bit with a more aggressive type of build. So I'm thinking like we go like Doom Knights and such. Is that a good idea? So like if I do this, right? And then I try out maybe even normal Chaos Knights, they could do well. Oh man, I don't know. These guys are pretty bad. They're pretty bad. I don't really want to take them. Here. I'll take like one in reserves, and then if the opportunity presents itself, I'll take it. But you really want to be careful not to get rolled over by ogres. So like maybe one extra spawn, but then I'll try like one Doom Knight, one Chaos Knight. For cleanup. This is sort of instead of pinks, which would usually be more cost efficient. And then everything else is more or less the same, right? Yeah. Double some flying air force, and then yeah, I'm gonna try going for a more melee reinforcement build instead of a pink reinforcement build, and we'll see how it plays out. You still remember a world champion chess player who said, if I take that pawn, I will lose the game, but I don't know why. Then he took the pawn and went, oh, I'm going to lose in 2 moves. Brutal. Oh my gosh. All the factions within a decent state. Right now, Slaanesh is not viable in multiplayer, and Cathay is not viable in competitive. So Slaanesh is sort of a bad idea in quick battle, but yeah, Cathay, you generally, if both players are playing like sort of the perfect meta, you will see very little Cathay, unfortunately. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. What an amazing game, by the way. Darkest Dungeon, great game, amazing. All right, now, let's see. I believe we'll just go for a normal spread here. Spread out my Forsaken a little bit too. Probably want my blues a tiny bit backwards. And the name of the game today is just wait for the ogres to get on the points and then push them back. Shouldn't be too much of a problem overall. There we go. We have Kairos for the snipes. Over here, he's going for a mass range build. So actually, excuse me, it's mostly man-eaters. Mostly man-eaters. So this is sort of... Man-eaters are a weird situation where generally you don't really want to dive them very bad. Man-eaters will give you a really hard time because they're so good at fighting in combat. It's usually much better to just avoid them for the entire battle. And I think I'll mostly be doing that today. I'm going to hide a lot of my guys in the forest so that they don't get skirmished to death. Let's go ahead and dodge with the Forsaken a little bit. A little bit of dancing around never hurt. There we go. We did dodge that volley. And then probably just focus on spawn. Just a whack load of spawn this game. And that should be able to win it for us. CEA is the opponent. Creative Assembly has come to end me. This is it, guys. Alright, now, as Tzeentch, it's pretty scary to split up your armies. He might just divide and conquer here. So I do have to be quite wary of that. Other than that, though, I'm not too worried. And the melee does help us a little bit. Oh, nice. He's doing some good zoning with his lord, making sure that he doesn't get moitered by my blue fire. Instead, we'll just use it on his super expensive man-eaters instead. Fun fact, man-eaters, they did get nerfed in the recent patch, so they're not nearly going to be doing as much damage as they were before. So I'm not super worried about them. This repositioning is sort of having me worried. I'm going to reposition my own army to sort of reflect his movements. And then we'll just keep on ignoring the scrap launchers. No way that we want to take that fight just yet. Now, as for my actual summons, I'm going to go for probably Screamers, as I don't think I really want to have a big charge against these man-eaters just yet. I will stay in the forest, because we do have a nice advantage here in it. And then, is he going to take this fight here? If he does, I would call that a bad play if he decides to take a fight in the forest. Ogres do not want to have that happen. Not at all, no sir. But perhaps they will. Perhaps they will. I may even go for the Doom Knights, honestly. You know what? Let's just try the Chaos Knights. I do not think this is a great option, but they could do okay. Meantime, it looks like he is going to be going for the fight in the forest. This means he will be getting a pretty nasty melee debuff. Plus, I also have immediate summons of Screamers. So this could be bad for my opponent. I can also collapse in with these guys. And this is sort of just... if I can take a decisive engagement here, then that should be a good victory. I'm using the Gaze of Fate because it reduces the melee attack of the man-eaters. That'll keep my Forsaken in the fight a little bit longer. And now we start spilling in with the Knights. So, man-eater is pretty scary. I'm going to grab some Screamers to go ahead and try and charge these guys, give them a hard time. The fight is a little bit awkward in the forest, just because I don't have my full forces here just yet either. But it looks like my Forsaken and Spawn are still coming out on top nonetheless. Did Screamers get a buff? No, but they're generally pretty good against Ogres. I would recommend them. If we take a look at my Knights, though, they're not actually doing that great against the Man-Eaters. Look at that. They traded terribly. This is why you don't. This is why you don't go for Knights. Instead, you just spam Forsaken and Spawn, but I think we should still be able to make do with this situation, especially with a ton of blues starting to spill in now. And I'm not really worried about the points. We're not anywhere close to getting out-captured right now, so no rush on that front. Alright, and I do want more Screamers, as most of his units are large right now. They're just the best option against large. There we go. Our Knights are pretty beat up, but, you know, they're doing alright. And I think it's time my Lord flew out and start killing off my opponent's guy. As he is pretty exposed right now. I should be able to take him out. Value's quite nice for us, which is great. Blue Fire does great against those Noblar Trappers. And since I'm out of Screamers, we can start summoning in Furies. And they do especially good too because in the forest here, they won't be suffering their anti-large penalties. So they're quite happy to take a fight in there. Nice. I'm very surprised that my opponent decided to take such an aggressive fight, given that he didn't have a melee advantage. The scrap launchers simply don't offer a huge bonus for him. And in this case, it's going to be helping us out a lot. Look at that, another route. And yeah, Forsaken and Spawn, they prevail again. They prevail again, and we will buff up Kairos' stats. One of the great things about Kairos is that even though he doesn't have great melee stats, he has enough Winds of Magic to easily buff himself back up. So it doesn't really matter in the end. Nice, and it looks like their Lord is very nearly down. And we should be able to carry out the victory from here. Nice. Just a good old playing defensively managed to get us the lead. You want Kairos to tell you the past and future about your love life. But he can't predict the present. I feel like that could be a problem in some situations if you're currently dating. Nice. Okay, well that was just a very decisive victory in terms of force engagement. Very good. Very good. All right, let's edit this. I can't wait till we actually see a few more units though. Domination is sort of weird because you can't rely on your micro as much to get you value. It's a lot harder to meme than one would hope for. Domination just doesn't have it doesn't encourage sort of the difference in skill that land battles used to. It's a pro and a con, but I will say I miss being able to meme hard and still win. Although that game against Kislev was just a bad choice from me, so maybe my complaints are unfounded. Yeah, Maneater Epistles, they do pretty well against Knight unit types. I think the Knights for Tzeentch just in general, they're just not too great. I can really only meme if it's against Slanesh. If we're up against Slanesh again, I'll spam out Knights and Doom Knights. Maybe if it's Cathay too. I would do that against Cathay. Oh, against Khorne though, that's a different story. Now here's the thing about Khorne. Khorne is a very, very scary faction to go up against, as he will win melee fights very handily. You have to really make sure that you don't get into melee with him, and his armor is extremely hard to kill. Pinks are not going to be killing off Khorne armor. Instead, you want Exalted Flamers. I'm going to give them a reload in the reinforcements, because that's a bit safer. And then the rest of my army is basically defending my Flamers as best as possible. Specifically the Exalted Flamers. Maybe I'll take a normal one just in case. But I do want a good amount of Forsaken. And I do want a good amount of Chaos Spawn. Over here, I could take a Burning Chariot. Burning Chariot's really interesting because it's really good against single entities that Khorne can field. But in general, I'd probably recommend against it. Yeah, Khorne is one of the harder factions to face up against, so no memes for this battle. This is actually fairly meta, I would say, in terms of as far as Tzeentch builds go. This should be fairly meta. Do I want Greater Arcane Conduit? It does mean I can fit in more, fit in like a spawn and something. Yeah, I can do like double spawn here, and then the reinforcements do the Forsaken. This is slightly more powerful of a starter. Yeah. Am I missing something on Kairos? No, he's normal. All right. Yeah, let's do this. Technically, not having Greater Arcane Conduit can be a bit of a problem, but the blue fire matters a bit less here. Yeah, rip Pendulum spam. It used to be so strong. And to see some Soul Grinders of Tzeentch action, perhaps? Yeah, I'll see where I can fit it. Soul Grinders of Tzeentch are really bad in melee, and they run out of ammo super fast. They're pretty bad, sadly. But if I do find a place to fit them in, I'll try it. Yeah, I feel like Tzeentch really gets hard carried by the spawn in Forsaken. The spawn Forsaken and blues, if my army could only consist of that, I think I would be able to win every single battle. Tzeentch is crazy happy to just have those units because they're so cost efficient. I can't believe blues used to cost 5 4,400 too. Like, even after a 25% price increase, they're still one of the best units on the roster. Insane. Alright, but yeah, let's see how my opponent does. He has 5 units. I repeat, he has 5 units. Let's see what happens over there. I would say, if he has a lot of Bloodthirsters, maybe that could do well. This is pretty sketchy, right? What does he have going on? If he's spamming armor, you would have more than just 5. No GAC seems very off. Sorry, what's GAC? I feel like... What, is that like... Yeah, I don't know what GAC is. Greater Arcane Conduit? I see. Yeah, it's a little bit off, but, you know, it did let me upgrade one of my Forsaken, so that's quite fun. Aha. He went for the high ground deployment. Alright, that's fine. Kairos can go ahead and fly up over there. In the meantime, I'll just, yeah, wait for our Forsaken spawn. Elmer saying Greater Arcane Conduit, yeah. If he has a Bloodthirster to chase Kairos down, it's basically never gonna catch Kairos. Kairos is one of those lords where he will live. If you want Kairos to live, he will live. He's basically indestructible if you play him correctly. 3 Skull Crushers, maybe. 3 Skull Crushers would be interesting. My spawn would help a lot, and then Screamers would probably win it, but that would be pretty terrifying. In this case, it looks like he has a Soul Grinder and a Scarbrand. Focusing down Scarbrand is probably the better option here. They have about the same HP, same armor. Scarbrand's just a higher priority target. And a single halberd in the distance. Interesting. Alright. Nice. Oh, and he does have some armor. He does have some Skull Crushers. Very good. So we can show off how well Screamers do against them. I think my normal Exalted Flamer should do quite well too in that situation. But we shall see. Scarbrand and a Soul Grinder. Yeah, we are seeing some very elite units. Here's the thing. I do have a lot of guys of my own who can sort of stall up against those guys for a long time. So I'm not particularly worried about what I see so far. Although I will need to start spamming out Screamers in a moment. This guy's going to be shooting at Kairos, but I don't think it will actually do too much damage. I will dodge, though, just in case. Scarbrand against Tzeentch, it's a little bit odd. But, you know, not completely out of the question. I think people just like Scarbrand. He's like a fairly strong guy in general. People like it. But he is slowly going to get whittled down, though. Kairos is an unending pool of blue fire, so... sooner or later, he will go down, but he is quite a tanky fellow. It's not going to happen overnight by any means. There we go. There's my Screamers for his elite cavalry. And now we start melting some faces. So, yeah, the Exalted Flamers, they do great versus infantry here. Especially if they're in square formation. And our first volley already pretty huge damage. I think we can get another volley off, too. Let's go ahead and move these guys up a tiny bit. Get up Scarbrand. Then disengage with them. Now he's going to go for a breath attack. That shouldn't do too much damage. Yeah, it doesn't even tickle the shields. Didn't even tickle the shields. And the great thing about this fight right now is that we have an insane amount of blues. And they're going to be doing a lot more damage than our little blue fire poking. These guys are insanely high DPS and will happily fire into this melee here. There we go. He does manage to get through with one of his units of infantry. That's okay, as right now we can more or less just ignore them. And then I think we're basically good. Flamers, they're really good in this situation because even if you do get engaged in melee, they can just shoot right down the flanks of the units and basically right away they're already routing. So I think my Flamers are pretty happy. Scarbrand's getting nuked into oblivion. And I think basically with that engagement, we're good. He does have the Skull Crushers moving on in, though. And we will have to deal with that. Are these guys they're the anti-large variant. So maybe we do summon some Furies on top of them. That should be very annoying. But yeah, I don't really see what else he can do. Another Blood Crushers over here. Looks like they want to pick a fight. But here's some pretty fun tech. If I move back with my Exalted Flamers, and have them charge my blues. If my tutorial video was correct, we should be able to shoot right over the tops of my infantry. And yeah, look at that. No friendly fire on the blues. Yet the blood crushers are getting annihilated. There you go. Look at that. Oh my gosh, this is an amazing trade for me. Jeez Louise. That is disgusting. All right, I think that basically does it. Our opponent took some pretty expensive units that got deleted by my cheapest units in the roster. Oh my gosh, that was disgusting. Oh jeez. All right. Well, I'll take it. Oh man. Fish in a barrel. Yeah, Scarbrand. Place your bets on value. I'm gonna guess Scarbrand made I'm gonna give him 200 gold value. Dang it, I was gonna say 300, but I moved it down. Oh, so close, so close. Oh jeez. Anyways, yeah, we were. That was an execution, but this is why you take blues. They may have gotten nerfed. Doesn't matter. In fact, as a general rule of thumb, if Creative Assembly nerfs a unit, take that unit more. It's probably still good. Generally, units don't get nerfed into oblivion. Although I guess Gorgers sort of. That did happen to Gorgers, so yeah. Is spell resist useless? It's not. If he didn't have spell resist, it would have been a real bad time for Khorne. Is it better to go wide as Khorne versus Tzeentch? Yes, you want to go very wide and don't take too expensive units. Get a lot of Furies and Dogs and you'll be good. Yeah, F for Gorgers, right? Oh, you're sniping. Oh, it's you, Louis. Nice, nice. Happy to have you here. Yeah, I say the Khorne matchup is hard, and then all of a sudden, it's the easiest game we've had all day. Crazy. Oh boy. Now, let's see what our opponent goes for today. Hopefully, I would love to see some Cathay action. I really want to go Cavalry, but these guys are so expensive. I feel like Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. Oh, it's another Khorne. I feel like Chaos Knights of Tzeentch could be way, way cheaper. Same with the Doom Knights. The Doom Knights feel like they should be 120. And the Chaos Knights, honestly, they feel like they should be like 1,000. It's crazy how expensive they are. Anyways, if you do want to have fun, without risking facing up against a lot of armor, you could do something like this. Now, there is a chance that our opponent goes for a very, you know, just a very like rush-based style, runs us over and we die instantly. But on the other hand, if he doesn't do that, then we could also just win the game outright. Oh boy, what is this build? I'm gonna go for the cooldown reduction so that I can get the double Gaze of Fate going. And then over here, everything is basically just anti-dog duty. We really don't want to die to Khorne mobility. So I want a couple of Forsaken for that. Large units are less of a threat. I do want a couple blues. I would also like a reload on these guys because they'll definitely need it. And maybe a little bit of mass. A little bit of screaming action. A little bit of flying action. And then is this it? Is this the build? Guess this is the build. Sure. Alright, here we go. You guys wanted memes? Here are your memes. Flamer memes. Now, Flamer memes are way better than horror memes because blues and pinks don't have armor piercing damage. And if you want a meme, you gotta make sure your build is strong against every single unit type. And what better than a literal war crime to ensure that you will be able to kill everything on sight. Now, if he goes full mobility, we are a bit screwed, but we'll see. Kairos will win them next match. I would say Kairos is going to win it. 100, yeah, I would say 1,200 Doom Knights is actually pretty fitting for them. You can think about it this way. Doom Knights, compare them to Questing Knights of Bretonnia, right? Questing Knights of Bretonnia are tankier. They have armor piercing. They'll trade well into infantry. They will also trade well into other cavalry. They cost 1,100. Doom Knights trade badly into other cavalry because they're armored. They trade badly into unarmored at times, like corn dogs. They'll rip them apart. They have very few models, don't do a lot of damage, and they cost 500 gold more than questing knights. The only bonus that they have is they're flying, but because they're melee, they have to land to actually get things done. Why would you take Doom Knights? I have no idea. Yeah, they have so much going badly for them. I cannot see a good argument for them being OP. I know people love them though, especially in campaign, but man, oh man, compared to like the best of the best in the other games, compare them to a single gunnery wight on a crab. 1,000 gold, a gunnery wight on the crab could kill all the Doom Knights because it has armor. Just, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's brutal. Alright, anyways, what do we have for our opponent? It's a mass melee build. Lots of spawn, some cultists, very, very nice. I foresee a victory for us today, guys. I foresee a glorious, glorious Tzeentch victory. All we have to do is melt some faces off and we'll be fine. Doom Knights can abuse cycle charge, what cannot abuse cycle charging? That doesn't mean that they're cost efficient. That just means that they can be slightly, that means that they can, cycle charging is a multiplier, right? So it makes good units better, right? And it makes bad units only ever so slightly better, but yeah. Yeah, it's a numbers game. It's a big old numbers game in the end. Now, I will go for Screamers because they are probably my best tool versus cultists right now. There we go. And let's see here. Yeah, let's put these guys on 3. Okay, nice. And then I can do this, net this guy down, and then just melt his face. Here we go. Let's get that flame in action going. We accidentally do a bit of friendly fire, sadly, but that's okay. Oh man, I botched it. I totally botched it. Oh jeez, well that's embarrassing. All right, let's take 2. Take 2, net him again. Now we're gonna try and melt his face off. He also went for Fury summons, which is a little bit scary, because it does mean that they will be able to fly on in and potentially shut down my ranged. I'm sort of hoping that mass flamers will deal with it. Hoping that they'll handle that situation. You know, they sort of do okay. They didn't do great. All right, let's go over here. We'll do that. Let's go ahead and get some blues because they're great against spawn. And then let's not friendly fire my own guys. There we go. Those spawn are rampaging. Nice. We'll get a big old blue fire over there, and we gotta survive the storm a little bit. Our DPS is good. It's not amazing, so we have to be a bit careful that he doesn't actually get on top of our guys. That would be very bad. I sort of just want to route these guys off as fast as I can. He's gonna go for the summon. I'm not too worried about that. And it looks like our Forsaken are doing okay. Yeah, we're doing fine. We're doing fine. His infantry's moving on up quite menacingly, though. Let's go ahead and grab some more Forsaken to try and deal with that. And then we can more or less kite out the bloodletters. The spawn shouldn't really be too much of an issue, so I think that's fine. Yeah, I think we're okay. Not a huge fan of these Furies, though. Let's go ahead and focus them down. And then there we go. The spawn are more or less out, which means that most of the mobility for my opponent is dealt with. Very, very good. So now we can start transitioning into just melting the faces off of these Chaos Warriors over here, as they are definitely pretty ill-equipped to deal with all of our fire. We'll also need some more Furies for the dogs, but I think we have enough. I think we have enough fire here to deal with this. Yeah, this is going very good for us. And look at that, we even have value. This is great. Oh, let's net this guy down first. There we go. Get the blue fire on him, and then get our exalteds on him. There we go. This is like a real finicky type situation here, because flamers sort of, they don't have like the perfect firing angles you've ever seen. Let's see, do I have a flamer here? I do, yeah. It's also really hard to distinguish them, I'm finding. But, you know, we'll get there eventually. Let's grab these Furies and kill off that cultist. And man, oh man, that damage. The damage is immense. Well, that's pretty good for us, I would say. There we go, Screamers on these guys, and then I think I start saving up for the Blazing Squealers. Just because they're pretty good. They're good for the reload. They'll be able to give all of these guys ammo back. I am quite happy about how many Chaos Warriors we're seeing, though. That is a pretty big help for us. And right now, thankfully, he hasn't captured the third point, so time is not of the essence. We sort of have a good amount of time. It is a bit too bad, though, that I did lose so many of my flamers, though. Losing 2 of them is a bit rough. All right, nice. So, I'm going to get rid of one of my Exalteds, the highest HP one. And that is so that I can get the Blazing Squealers going. And they will be able to reload everything else. Let's go ahead and attack these spawn, too. It's a bit of a mosh pit here. I don't appreciate that. I also want my Furies over here. But I think we're good, especially since this is his Lord. So that should not really be too much of a problem. Nice. All right, sweet. We did it. We stabilized. For reals. For reals. So Blazing Squealers can move on over here. We get our Flamers and everybody into position. Massive reload on everybody. And we can get back into business. Great. Yeah, so at this point, we just have to do the capture a few points and we're good to go. I think my opponent, unfortunately for him, he took a pretty aggressive push towards me. And then we just had a heyday, right? The timing on the spawn and the infantry was just a little bit off. Although, despite all of that, that battle was a bit closer than I had hoped for. Generally, it's a lot better to have fewer flamers and to make sure that they get more value. As you can even see here, right? One of them only just barely paid for themselves. So it's not always a perfect situation. But hey, there you go. If you want to meme it up a bit as Tzeentch, there is that option. You can do that if you so wish. Oh man, yeah, that was a huge value train when your melee infantry finally got there. That was brutal. All right, what's going on in chat? My parents and teachers had just told me I needed math to pull off sick moves in Warhammer. I'd have studied much harder. You know, as much of a meme as it is, it does sort of help. The math and statistics, I have used basic statistics to help me. Well, actually, programming has directly helped my tournament career because I made a whole bot. I made a whole script to choose what the best factions are against whatever my opponent picks. Corn again? Does it ever end? All right, you know what? Let's mix it up this time. Let's do a full melee Tzeentch build. Do you guys think we can win with full melee? Probably not, right? I don't think we do. How do you even pull off a full melee build? Could go like soul grinders, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty sketchy, isn't it? We gotta give them a little bit of a chance. So how about full melee with like a couple guys in reserve, right? So like if I do like 2 flamers in reserve, this is like my only kill force. The rest will be melee. Sure, we'll take a soul grinder, all right? There, you guys happy? 1 soul grinder, but I ended at that. There shall not be more, there shall not be less. I'll also go for the Doom Knights. Just to show that they're not good. Alright, here we go. Yeah, and then the rest is like a spawn Forsaken. You know, the more and more I'm playing throughout this day, the more I realize that Tzeentch actually is just Spawn and Forsaken. Spawn, Forsaken, and Kairos. Oh my gosh. Tzeentch. Changer of ways has no unit variety. Come on, man. All right, but yeah, this is a decent enough build. 1 screamer in case it goes for heavy cavalry. Yeah, sure, let's do it. Let's do it. I think we're ready. Doom Knights are bad. Doom Knights are bonkers bad because they're crazy expensive. What would I rather have than a Doom Knight? I could almost have a Forsaken and a Spawn. And this combo will deal way more damage. I could have 2 flamers, almost. I could have 3 blue horrors. Are you kidding me? 3 blue horrors killed Scarbrand. You know what Doom Knights are gonna do? They're gonna die. They're gonna die to Bloodhounds. I'm telling you. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I did use scripting in a tournament. You know, that is tool assisted tournament run. may even be illegal. I don't know. Oh yeah, let's change up our banner. That seems fun. Oh, when you're locked in, you can't change the banner. What is this? Let's see, there we go. Can we be purple? Nah, that's a bad color. There we go. Bring a Lord of Change. Look, Kairos is a Lord of Change, alright? He's good enough. Yeah, Spawn and Forsaken is a really boring identity for Tzeentch. Of all the things, it's the 2 units that Chaos already had. The Warriors of Chaos. So far you found exactly 1 use for Doom Knights, killing towers in campaign. Yeah, that's a pretty good use, honestly. If only there was a unit that was like 3 times cheaper, that did more damage, that could also do the same thing. That is also recruitable at tier 1. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But Mass Doom Knights, you know what they are actually really good for in campaign? Auto-resolve. Doom Knights are auto-resolve kings in campaign. My goodness, they are so good at auto-resolve. They help my late game Tzeentch campaign so much off the back of that. If it wasn't for that, I would have no uses for Doom Knights. You hope Warriors of Chaos update makes them playable in Game 3? Oh, I would really hope so. Usually, when a faction is part of a DLC, they usually get part of the meta. It's very rare for a faction to see an update and still be bad. Except for maybe the exception of dwarves. But that's just dwarf things. Here we go. What makes Tzeentch, Spawn, and Forsaken so good? They just have they just trade very well into basically everything at the same price point. If you look at their stats, it's nothing crazy, right? They do have Frenzy, but the specific combo that you're looking for, Forsaken have a lot of normal damage, not a lot of armor piercing. Spawn reduce the armor of the units that they make contact with. So there is a little bit of a synergy there, but most of it is just that they're both very cost efficient. And Tzeentch is interesting because all of his units get a 10% HP buff worth of barriers, which actually makes them a pretty nice melee faction in general. Man, everybody goes Scarbrand. I never see a guy that just goes for normal lords. Nobody likes a Herald, even though he's super meta. I guess against Tzeentch, it would be a bit less popular, but still, color me surprised. Now, because my army's sort of janky here, we're gonna play a little bit carefully, but otherwise shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, lowering the armor is actually quite significant, and it's a constant debuff too. So right now I don't really see a need to summon flamers, but in case things get too dicey for me, I will. For now though, let's take a look. The Soul Grinder of Tzeentch. Can it kill any amount of these guys? Look at that damage. Yeah, good old 0 kills. 1 kill. Look at that. Dang, man. Tzeentch has so many cool units, and all of them are just not the best. Not the best units I've ever seen. Wow, that was actually really disappointing. How many shots does he have? If we fired all of our shots, we would kill 1/3 of these Skull Crushers. My goodness. This is why we have Spawn and Forsaken, guys. Alright, let's get some Screamers going. There we go. The blue fire is very effective versus these guys, so I will be doing that. Another volley comes off. You know, little bit of poke damage, not too bad. And then I'll just keep softening up these guys. I don't really need to have the other guys super low just yet. I think my Spawn should be able to trade up into them. Tzeentch is such a disappointing faction. He is pretty fun to play in general. I wouldn't say like he's that bad. Oh hey, my opponent did summon units that are perfect for me to fight, so I will take that. He summoned in Furies, and Doom Knights do trade exceptionally well into Furies. You're gonna see in just a second. Pre-buff them up. Insane damage. The thing is, generally Tzeentch usually doesn't need a solution versus Furies, but it will help them quite a bit. Does Soul Grinder do well against Khorne? Or not Khorne, Scarbrand, I mean. But yeah, look at that. They barely lose their shield and kill 2 Furies. That's a huge trade. Soul Grinder does a little bit better versus Scarbrand, so I will give it that. But yeah. These are like the niche situations where you will see these units used. Still though, in general, would not recommend. And Scarbrand's actually moving on in. He wants to take the fight versus the Forsaken. Let's go ahead and get the Spawn in over there. And you know what? I guess we'll probably send in Kairos too. I think this is a bit aggressive for my opponent, but we'll see. Yeah, Scarbrand will annihilate a Soul Grinder, no issue for sure. You gotta be careful about that. He'll also do a lot of damage to Kairos if you're not careful. So I will be giving him the glorious Harmonic Convergence buff. He is bugged right now though, sadly. I thought they fixed that. Anyways, a little bit of cycle charging to do, and there we go. Scarbrand's now in a pretty tough spot. We have a Soul Grinder doing all right. We have these bad boys moving on in, some Skull Crushers. Let's see how well the Screamers do over there. And then the Doom Knights, honestly, I don't really want to send them in onto Scarbrand. I think they will just die. So to sort of just avoid that, we'll leave them in the air to charge the Skull Crushers in the back instead. Look at that, Screamer charged it quite well. They like brought those guys down to a quarter HP. Not bad. I'll keep summoning in Spawn. They're probably the best option here. And against all odds, Kairos is sort of whooping Scarbrand. I don't like this Bloodthirster though, so let's go ahead and just pin him down real quick and get a tiny bit of a disengage. There we go. Kairos is the ultimate. He's the ultimate like just make you frustrated type lord. You'll never be able to kill him. Basically never. Let's see. Oh, I did send in my Doom Knights, so let's go ahead and give them a buff. And yeah, against the Skull Crushers, look at that. One hit from a Bloodthirster, 1/4 HP. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. You do not want to see that for such an expensive unit. That Bloodthirster basically killed 2 units of Blue Horrors and 2 attacks. That's how much value he got off of these guys. Oh my gosh, he's doing so much damage to my poor knights. Jeez Louise. Let's see if we can disengage and pull him back to safety here. I'll also get a unit of Forsaken again, just because they're very good. They've been trading quite well out of everything. Soul Grinders are great versus Iron Blasters when they were OP. Soul Grinders, yeah, they're like an okay answer to Iron Blasters. I still preferred my my Spawn and Tzeentch though. Spawn and Tzeentch. Spawn and Forsaken. Yeah, those guys will generally do much better. How's the value trading going, by the way? Looks like it's pretty good. I'll take it. So let's go ahead and just finish off this bad boy. We do have a few more Skull Crushers coming back in. I think these guys should do just fine. And then, yeah, nice. It looks like we'll have the Cultist down to capture points. Yeah, we'll capture points in a second. I got one. Oh, oh, oh. We have Furies. The perfect matchup for these guys. Let's go and get them. Yes. Doom Knights go. Oh, perfect. Value once again. It's going to make them look pretty nice. All right, nice little missile spell on this bad boy. And then Soul Grinder can probably start cycle charging these guys. And that's sort of like one of the decent things about the Soul Grinder. It does act okay as a cycle charge battery, but you do have to be a bit careful with it. It does have pretty weak stats. Take a look over here. Soul Grinder of Tzeentch has actually 4336. What's it getting buffed by? Frenzy? No, there's no frenzy going on. Weird. Is it chevrons? Anyways, yeah, Soul Grinder, he's decent as a cycle charger. If he has support, he can do all right. Yeah, we ignored the capture points for a while there. We're at the 6-minute mark, and I only just got one. Pretty crazy, but yeah, nice. Look at that. We managed to do it. Now, I'm not going to say this was entirely off the backs of my Forsaken and Spawn, but I am thinking it. I'm thinking it loudly. All right. Nice. And we have Minotaurs too. So in general, we should be able to trade well into these guys. No problem. Nice. Lord is down. And now we've done it. We've secured an advantage. At least when it comes to the military side of things. We can now just capture these points, and I think we've won. In general, if you really want to kill Furies quickly, these guys will get their damage in, right? Let's see if I can... Look, here's a charge against Minotaurs, right? They're at 1/3 HP, so it's not a fair trade, but like... They're not gonna do that much damage, right? About 1/4 damage before they die. So if they had been at full HP, they might have taken them down to half at best. It's unfortunate, man. I know people love Doom Knights, but man, are they hard to actually get value on. Especially against single entities. I think probably their biggest weakness are single entities. Maybe if you like Oh, that could be why. Look at that melee defense. They have like... Did I just desummon them? Oh, I did. My bad. But yeah, Doom Knights, if they had, like, give them 60 melee defense, I think that would actually be a pretty nice buff for them. Because, like, you know, they're basically Chosen, right? If you compare them to Chosen, who have, like 58 melee defense easy, Doom Knights are extraordinarily easy to hit. It is as easy to hit a Doom Knight as it is, like, a random orc boy. Come on, like, think about that, right? These are the best of the best. They've been giving flying saucers from Tzeentch himself only to be easily poked down by, like, basically everything in the game. Yeah. That would be pretty cool, though. Just if they just got insane stats, that'd be pretty spicy. Triple Lord of Change next game? Oh, that'd be pretty fun. Since this game is over, how much do you think the meta would change if you were able to land flyers for capture points? I would say it'd be pretty strong. It'd be pretty strong, quite annoying. It would emphasize a lot more like sort of Lord snipe build. Jeez, my throat. I don't know what's going on. It feels so dry. I don't know why. There we go. I think we're good. I can speak. I can read. Anyways, yeah. How did the Cathay wind farming go? Cathay wind farming went great. Oh yeah, I heard people like zoom-ins. I don't know. I don't really see the appeal of zoom-ins like this, right? Like, you know, it's sort of cool. You get to see like the models and stuff, but like, you know, you don't have any synced combat animations. It's sort of just like a blur. Is this like what the mass multiplayer like viewing community like to see? Is this it? Is this what you want? It's like, I don't know, you know, you get to see like Forsaken, but then like what's happening over here? What tactics are happening? I don't know. This has never really appealed for me. Should I do this? Is this better? Maybe this is better. Should I do this for the next big tournament? Maybe. You know, in terms of readability, this is actually slightly more readable, so I will give it that. You can look at like Kairos's. He has some pretty cool attack animations, you know. Look at that, the step back and fly forwards, pretty sick. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I'll appeal to the mass majority if I must. Too easy to miss stuff happening on the map. I know, right? Sort of crazy, but anyways, that was a pretty clean game. I guess there wasn't really too much to talk about in terms of build variety for Tzeentch. If we showed anything today, it's that Spawn and Forsaken are sort of bonkers. That's basically it. There's not a lot else going on for Tzeentch. Hopefully they get more units in the future, right? Like, okay, look, when this is your roster, right? These three guys, if this is your roster, I feel like there's got to be a little bit more work done. Although, like, you have your niche units, so that's not actually representative, but what have you. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today. I'll do a quick look over of your comments, and then we'll close out the stream. The underground shot is where it's at. I'll do that for the next tournament. Yeah, oh, monster duels is pretty fun. That's true. People do like that. Amazing animations, yeah. But infantry, probably not. Only good on Indie Pride replays? Oh yeah, when they can like cut between zoom-ins, and that's pretty cool. What's this about Zongors? Oh yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. I think more units in general would be good. What's your opinion on, and last question, what's your opinion on RORs? Are they worth it? Generally, yes. Generally, yes. About all of them are valuable, at least, or meta. So try them out. They're good. Anyways, peace out, guys. Yeah. We'll just put up the video, and then and we'll be streaming tomorrow. We only have a few more factions to cover, and hopefully we manage to keep up this pretty good win rate, because looks pretty good, not gonna lie.